15, love.
Oh, you don't.
Oh my goodness me, what a shot.
30, love.
Beautiful passing shot off the backhand.
30, 15.
Have a bit of this.
These two boys really in business today.
40, 15. Out.
What?
Out.
What?
The ball was out.
You gotta be kidding! The ball's in! Everyone can see that the ball's in! Chalk dust! Everyone can see that there was chalk dust! That ball was in by about a mile! You people here are goddamn senile!
Don't be noisy. There's a good chap. You'll wake the line up. She's having a nap.
Screwball! Call yourself an umpire or a screwball!
Play on. You're being rather naughty. Kindly play on.
I won't play on till you choose.
That's a funny song.
That is a funny
It
song,
is a
that
funny
one.
song, and it's all about John McEnroe.
Ah.
You know, he used to say, what was his famous line? You
Be serious.
You cannot be serious. And that was the voice of Tim McKimm. Hi, Tim. How are you?
Very well, Annette. Thank
Tim-
you very much for having me.
You're welcome. You might have to come a little bit closer
Sure.
to the mic because
Sure.
they're not state of the art.
Okay.
Tim's a coach and a tennis coach.
Tennis coach.
And he's been coaching for 30 years.
Wow.
Around. He doesn't look old enough, does he?
No.
That's because he's a tennis
Well,
coach.
he started when he's 5, no doubt.
He's a dad to hundreds of kids. And he's from...
that he knows about.
We have... McKimm's a very well known in the Bayside area because two of them are builders.
Mm-hmm.
We've got the McKimm building place and the Inform.
That's it.
Yeah, and then there's Tim... Oh, sorry, I thought that had gone off. Tim is the coach and he coaches at Xavier,
Yep.
St Leonard's,
Yep.
Brighton...
St Leonard's Tennis Club, St Leonard's College, and Royal Avenue Tennis Centre.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And tennis. Tim used to coach me.
Oh.
Yeah. I'm not a very good tennis player at all.
You were great.
And my daughter learnt too. My eldest daughter learnt, and she just doesn't have a very sporty, but not tennis. Just that's what I want to ask you.
Okay, before you, and I've also got a sister too.
Oh, have you?
Yeah,
Sorry.
Yeah.
And does she play tennis or?
She doesn't build, no.
But she does play tennis.
She lives in the Bayside area like us.
Right. I think you still need to come a little bit closer
Sorry.
because,
Yeah.
not sort of here. Maybe
Okay.
we lift it up a bit.
Thank you.
There we go.
There you go.
Minor adjustments to the studio and we're done.
Tim, how did you get into tennis?
It was actually by accident because I used to go to St Leonard's College.
Didn't everybody in Bayside?
That's it. And a friend of mine said to me one day, do you want to play tennis? And I said, tennis? I don't know how to play tennis, but we'll give it a go. And he beat me 6-love. I don't think I won a point.
Right.
But I got hooked from that day. And that's how I started.
Did you actually play in the juniors at the Opens and all that sort of thing?
I actually started playing tennis at St Leonard's Tennis Club.
Right.
And then...
Is that the one in...
Wolseley Grove in Brighton.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, so I played there. Also played at Dendy Park.
Right.
And, played all around Australia and travelled the world. I played around the world too.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Yeah, see, I Googled you and there's not much on... I mean, I know all the places you coach.
Yeah.
But I just didn't know what juniors you'd been in.
Yeah. I was pretty late actually starting to play tennis because I didn't start till I was nearly 15.
That is...
And then 4 years' time I was playing in France. So I played a lot of money tournaments in France. And the system there is absolutely amazing because throughout the whole year, up till winter, they have I got a booklet from the Roland Garros and there was numerous tournaments every single week.
Wow.
So the opportunities there are huge. Yeah.
Well, just before we go on to your coaching, I heard that the way the AIS here is, that's the Australian Institute of Sport, Olivia, is that they're burning the young players out too quickly.
Yeah.
Whereas in the States, they seem to have to do a bit more study and they send them out a bit slower. Is that true?
Well, look, if you look at both Australia and the US, both have got 5 top men in the top 100.
Yeah.
So, look, I think there's many different ways of being a champion.
Yeah.
And I think, both ways work.
Well, that'd put Australia's statistics through the roof because Australia's population is what?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. 22 million something compared to...
US.
Yeah, but 200, we're 10% of their population apparently. Yeah.
I think they're even more, aren't they? I think it's more.
Probably. They have babies much more.
Well,
Yeah. So in comparison, we're doing quite well, really. when you
Yeah,
look at that number. I mean, France have got about 9 top players in the top 100 men, and Spain, I think, got the most. They've got about 12.
wow.
Well,
12 players in the top 100.
yeah, well, I had a look at, I mean, I was so excited with the tennis this year because we had so many Aussies playing. I mean, a bit disappointed with Sam Stosur.
Yeah.
But that's another question I want to get on to, the surfaces, all the different surfaces. I did hear someone saying that she plays better on... At
Clay, I think.
Yeah. So there's no 4 Grand Slams have the same
surface, yeah.
US Open and Australian Open's fairly similar.
Similar,
The US Open's Deco Turf. We've got Plexi Cushion. And maybe Plexi Cushion's maybe a little bit slower. Ball bounces maybe a little higher.
Oh, okay.
But it looks pretty on the telly.
It does, doesn't it?
It looks so much better than the clay surface. That just looks terrible.
Yeah. And you can push your thumb into the surface because it's a rubberised surface.
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've been lucky enough to go to sit in the number 1 seat. I went the year before. I was sitting right in that box where with the president of the tennis association, which I was thrilled at, and just to sit there, it looks so much smaller when you're there.
Yeah.
On TV, it's white, and the colours are different.
Yes.
Yeah.
They're very different. The reds come out more orange on TV. I noticed. Yeah, just little things. Now, I want to ask you first of all, so all these kids come to you, and you start teaching them. Can you see? Is it like, say, singing? You've either got a talent for it or you don't.
Definitely some people are ahead of others, but I believe that most people have got a lot of talent.
Yeah?
Every person has talent, and it's a matter of...
Tennis talent?
Yeah, tennis talent, but it could be anything.
Yeah.
And obviously if someone's progressed further, well, they're going to maybe achieve things quicker. But I think it comes from your thinking. Mm-hmm. I think the key to be really good, to be a champion, is to have a goal. Got to have a goal.
Exactly, yeah. I couldn't agree more.
Because if you listen to all champions, they say 2 things. I had a goal, I had a dream. So I actually get all the people I coach to fill this out.
That's why I'm not famous. You didn't make me fill that out when I was...
Well,
that technique didn't come in until after you stopped playing.
That's it. I'm still learning. I'm getting better as I go,
Well, actually, that's a really good question, in not only in tennis, but in sports in general. How much does mindset play a part in the success? Like, for me, like I've competed fairly highly in sailing, and for a long time I kind of just went with the flow, and it's like, we'll go out and have a bit of fun. But there was a couple of years where I really set my mind to winning the ultimate. And I just, like, at night, I used even hypnosis CDs and like almost like yoga sort of type of things. And it really made a difference in my performance. It was what I did off the water that made a difference on the water. Do you find that the same with tennis? Yeah.
Definitely, yeah. I think, like, there's 2 ways of, like, most of our behaviour is from our subconscious mind.
Yep.
So from what we learn from when we're children, from like 0 to 4.
Right.
And without realising, a lot of us behave from those beliefs that we have when we're little.
Yep.
And if you want to be really good, you've got to train your brain that you're a champion. So you need to use a lot of affirmations, a lot of visualisations. That's the key.
Yep. And I've used a lot of those as well, yeah.
Yeah, well, that would be in anything. Like, my daughter sings.
Yep.
And, she has to keep... Look, Taylor Swift, she went to Nashville, said, oh, my goodness, everyone's there with the same dream. I have to be better. I have to really do something and become famous. So to become, well, not famous, but successful.
Yeah.
They said last night that Kyrgios really let his antics get in the way of his performance. Did you see him last night?
Yeah, I did, I think when you're playing sport or when you're playing tennis, you want to stay happy.
Right.
Once you start getting negative, you're throwing your racket and that you get in the wrong pattern. So if you stay happy, things fall your way. If you keep persevering, it'll turn.
You should be a life coach.
But once you start throwing your racket, and then your mind goes elsewhere. And as his coach said, Todd Larkham said today, when he gets angry, he doesn't play his best.
Yeah. But they say the only two people that's ever worked for was Jimmy Connors and
John McEnroe.
Yeah.
John McEnroe,
Yeah, but he had a bit of turmoil in his life, didn't he?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if you would have wanted to live his life.
No.
Yeah. Like John McEnroe.
No, that's unanimous.
Yeah. So if you look at all the greats, they're all very humble, and obviously they're
Federer.
very driven. They've set high goals.
Yeah.
But they're all nice people. Like look at Federer, and Nadal. Look at the way Nadal behaves.
Beautiful. Yeah.
They set personal standards for their own behaviour, I think, and that's clearly the difference because like those guys have a massive following of no matter what game they play, people still love them.
Yeah.
And we saw that, sort of with Kyrgios, that obviously he can play.
Yeah.
He wouldn't be there if he couldn't play.
No.
But his attitude kind of got some people but didn't get everyone.
Yeah.
And as soon as that sort of mind shift within him changes, people just sort of say, "Oh, he's cracked it now. He's going to lose," and it's kind of like that whole atmosphere just drags, it just drags him down as well.
Yeah.
Instead of like you say, staying positive, having that attitude that okay, it's a temporary setback. Let's get through it.
And I guess it's easy for us to say, to say this. If you're in his shoes, he's 19 years of age, and you're playing in front of millions of people.
Oh,
so I think he handles himself really well, but I reckon if he improved that side of it,
nice.
And that'll come with experience.
But what about the other one, the other young one, Kukanakis?
Yeah.
I think, watching both of them on the first day,
yeah.
I immediately liked Kukanakis. He just looked like a really nice...
I want him to do well because I just love his name. It's brilliant.
Am I pronouncing it incorrectly? Is it
Close enough.
Kokonakis.
Yeah.
I mean, and then you've got other young ones coming through.
As I said to you, there's 5 top Australians in the top 100. Kyrgios has gone to 35 in the world.
Wow.
Bernard Tomic, 66. This is before the Australian Open. Marinko Matosevic is 81. Sam Groth was 82. Leighton Hewitt was 87. It'll probably change a little bit after the Australian Open.
Well, actually, that's a good question. Points. How much does because the Australian Open is basically the first cab off the rank for the tour every year, isn't it?
Yeah, there are some lead-up tournaments.
Yeah. How much influence does the Australian Open have on those ratings for the players?
It's huge. It's huge because it's one of the Grand Slams.
Yeah.
So the points are much greater.
Right.
Prize
so there's a lot more
greater.
vested interest
Well, ours is the richest pocket at the moment.
40 million.
Yeah.
And the winners are the 3.1 million.
Wow.
I have a question. Do you think the women should be paid the same amount as men? See, I don't.
Notice that hesitation there.
They only play 3 sets. They only play 3 sets.
Yeah, look.
Yeah, it's a bit hard.
I don't know about that one.
Yeah, I heard a lot.
I don't really have an opinion either way. I mean, I think they all...
But I'll buy in on that argument because I'm a firm believer, and we see it within the music industry, where people get charged or they want to charge $1,200 for a 3-piece band for a wedding. Everyone goes, $3-piece, $1,200 for one night. You've got to be kidding. But hang on, it's the hours and months and years of preparation, of learning, of trial and error. And that's what the money pays for. It's not what you see for 5 minutes.
Well, the 3.1 million, whoever wins who's going to win?
I'd say Sharapova and Djokovic.
Oh, I love Djokovic.
Here we go. Put your bets on, people.
Out of that 3.1 million, they've got to pay their trainers, their management, it's a lot of money to
there's a massive entourage.
But the young ones coming up who don't get that money, they still have to get themselves overseas and they have sponsors and everything. So I know there's a lot of money in tennis, but
down the bottom it's a lot less.
Yeah.
Like I don't know if you heard when Jules Muller was playing the other night against Djokovic, they were saying that this time last year he was playing a challenger event and he won like $170 US. You know,
Yeah.
and the difference is huge.
Absolutely.
That wouldn't pay
Huge.
my McDonald's bill.
Yeah.
So, Tim, who's one of the best players you've seen? Who are your favourite players of all time? And why?
Nadal, Federer,
Yeah.
Djokovic,
Old
Agassi.
times. Oh, Agassi.
Yeah.
I guess
I always used to like Lendl when I was younger,
So did I.
but I think he did it the hard way compared
think-
to a lot of.
Is it Lendl who was in, I think it was a Wimbledon, I don't think it was the final.
Yeah.
And he was down, it was set point for the other player, and he came back from that, match point, I mean. He came back from that and won.
Yeah.
It was just the most remarkable game to watch.
Yeah, his first few finals, he kept losing finals. And I remember my family, my mum and dad would go to work and I'd stay home. US Open, I remember this. And I'd always sit there and watch and they'd think I'm at school and I was actually home watching the tennis. And, so he's always the bridesmaid,
Yeah.
But, he learnt to deal with that.
He's coaching
He
someone.
was coaching Andy Murray.
Right.
No longer.
No
Yeah.
longer.
Yeah.
They change their coaches a bit, don't they?
They do. But some don't. Like Uncle Tony's still coaching Raphael.
Yeah, that's
Been a
fantastic.
long
Would you like to have if you had a young person right now
Yep.
and you thought you've been coaching them for 10 years or something, and you
Yep.
say they're going to go through there, would you give up everything to tour and coach just one
Yeah,
person?
I'm planning to do that in the next few years.
Oh, are you?
Yeah. Like I've organised a tour in 2 years' time where we go to Wimbledon, French Open,
Oh, wow.
Italy. Yeah, play.
Have you got someone in mind?
We're still working on it.
Yeah.
Damn it.
Yeah.
Thought we were going to get the inside word there.
Well, a really good friend of mine is in charge of the tennis for IMG, Brian Cooney. Do you know Brian?
I don't know Brian.
Well, you'll get to know him when you're touring. He's a really nice guy.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
just say, put me up somewhere and, get my star managed through IMG.
Okay.
But
Sounds good.
so you'll leave the family. Well, when I say leave the family,
Yeah.
like you'll have to take off. I mean, you won't be home. very
Yeah, so
much.
that's my plan is to travel and then go back to your tennis centre and to the business and then, in between, travel around the world. Yeah.
Is there anyone you've thought I should have done that with them and now they're businessmen or...
I guess now I'm better prepared.
Right.
Like 10 years ago, I did a sports psychology course. So I got a certificate in that. And a lot of the things I was taught then, now I understand. It's taken me...
So it helped you as well as
Yeah.
you using your knowledge to help others.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Exactly, yeah. So, look, every day I'm always studying and trying to get better at what I do. And, so I think I'm in a much better position now than I've ever been.
You're a good coach. I mean, as I said, it wasn't just myself. I mean, it was my daughter and their friends. And Ellie had a friend called Jessica Morrison who went into swimming rather than tennis. And I
Yeah.
always thought she should have stayed in tennis because she was a little hot shot. You just saw the in her. I don't know what she's doing now, but you were great with the little kids.
Thank you.
Which I
Thank you.
don't know how you did because I watch all the mums be sitting there watching and go, oh. Yeah.
Yeah, I've been in that position actually with both my girls. It's like, oh,
But it's obviously you love it.
I do.
So
I do love coaching.
Is it a long day?
Well, because I manage Royal Avenue Tennis Centre,
Right.
so that we got 14 tennis courts there.
Now that's in Royal.
Yeah, Royal Avenue in Sandringham.
Yeah.
Yeah, so normally in the morning I walk early with my wife.
Yeah.
I go for a run with my dogs. Do my
What sort of
push-ups.
dogs? What sort of dogs?
I've got a Bichon Maltese Cross
Oh.
and a Bichon Miniature Poodle.
Oh.
Yeah, so
no
they-
hair dropping.
No, that's right, yeah.
Yeah.
So, we have a lot of fun every morning,
Yeah.
run along the beach and then to the tennis centre and, I actually live at my tennis centre. Yeah, so...
Right. Oh, wow.
yeah. So then we're...
is that by choice or just because you're there so often?
It is actually part of the lease.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, fantastic.
But it makes it so much easier.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Now,
it's-
I've got to ask you, though,
Yeah.
you're a pretty top-class tennis coach. Do you have a coach?
I don't have a coach. Well, I used to have a coach. I used to have a few coaches
Yep.
when I was younger.
Who did
Yep.
you coach to? Anyone?
Neil Guiney, Peter Jarrett, so two great coaches that I had along the way. Yeah.
I was coached by a man called Don Tregoning.
Never heard of
He's
him.
a well-known.
Yeah, when I was
Shows my level of knowledge.
He actually coached the Danish Davis Cup team, and they beat Australia back in the day.
Okay.
But he'd be in his 80s now. He was, so even back then, I still, I mean, but you know, the best thing about tennis, it's such a great social game.
True.
It is.
True.
I was away with my girls in winter. We found a tennis court, got the tennis rackets out, and I played against the two of them. And, you know, it was fun.
Yeah.
You know, no one's going chalk dust or we're not playing like that. My ex-husband used to let me win, and I used to get really cross about that. Don't let me win. Didn't like that. But do you play it socially as well?
Occasionally I have a hit with my wife.
Yeah.
And it's funny because we live and we've got 14 tennis courts sitting there. but you know, we don't do it that often. So normally I hit with the better kids I coach, so I get a good hit, and then just with other coaching younger kids. So socially I don't really play that much.
What about your kids? All the kids?
Well, two of my stepsons are coaches. They coach for me. Yeah. And
fantastic.
And my other stepson, he also works for me. And my kids, they're all good tennis players. Yeah. They never. My dream was for them to go on and play on the circuit. That didn't quite go ahead, but they've all got ability with tennis, and you know they're good. If we have a hit, we can have a good hit.
Obviously. Who goes picks up the balls? The youngest.
That's why he keeps on having kids.
And we've got a good friend of mine is Kay Griffin, Kay Sedgman. Did you go to school with Kay? Is she a bit older than you?
I didn't. No.
And Frank Sedgman, now everyone, you can buy his book, and he was a great tennis player. He's the reason why these people are getting 3.1 million today. He's one of the first ones to go pro, and absolutely was torn to shreds for doing it. You must read the book. It's
obviously ahead of his time.
He was ahead of his time.
Yeah.
And at the time, he's one of the greatest tennis players of all time.
He was.
He won Wimbledon twice. Anyway, you can buy his book. I said I'd do this for Kay.
Yeah.
You can buy his book at the Tennis Centre at Kooyong and at the Australian Open at the moment, or go to www.franksedgman.com.au and buy the book.
Sounds good.
You'd be interested in it. Yeah,
definitely.
It's I'm fascinated by Frank Sedgman and how he's not considered, like they don't talk about him in the same the same time as Rod Laver or things like that.
He hasn't got a court named after him yet, has he?
Yeah, I think with tennis people and people who know, but I just think he should be right up there. I was at the tennis with Kay last year, and we're looking at all the busts. Yeah. And Kay said, "Oh, there's my dad." Just before she said that, there were two kids there, and they're reading everything, and they said, "Oh my goodness, why is this called Rod Laver Arena? It should be called the Frank Sedgman Arena." And Kay was there, so it was just beautiful to hear.
Yeah.
You know, Tim, I want you to come back on another time because we're going to get a couple of sports people and just talk about the psychology of sport, not one in particular. But I'd also like to get a musician here and talk about putting it all together and you know, having your goals and just having a whole 2-hour show on doing...
Sounds good.
Yeah. So
brilliant.
I'm going to play some sponsors now because we have to.
Sure.
And a song. And I want to say thanks for coming in. And I've got a million more questions that I didn't ask you. I'm just remembering who the best players as well. And all these facts and figures. Oh, that's what I wanted.
Yeah.
That longest match ever.
Yep.
Isna and Mahat.
Yep.
How tired? Like... I feel like your arm must drop off, even when I'm watching 5 setters.
Yeah. Their last set went for 8 hours and 11 minutes.
Yeah.
The fifth set.
Wow.
76.
The last set?
The last set.
Crikes.
Yeah.
They had to have a sleep in between.
Yeah.
I'm not surprised.
Well, we went over a few days. The match actually took 11 hours and 5 minutes.
Wow.
Yeah.
11 hours playing.
Yeah.
Now, Isna's here now, isn't he? He's still playing. He's still in.
Yeah, he's knocked out,
Oh, he's been knocked out.
Yeah.
What he'd have to just go to bed you'd have to go to bed for a month after that. But one of them, Isna won, didn't he?
He did, yeah.
He would have had to have played the next day with 1 day's rest.
I can't remember the
No,
exact details,
actually, I must look that one up. That's
Then
very good.
wouldn't your body just go into shutdown mode after that? Like with the level of not only mental exhaustion but physical exhaustion and muscle, you know.
It's like playing 3 or 4 matches almost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you watch most of it?
I watched
Or some of it, yeah.
Even people who were watching the match were exhausted.
Exactly, yeah.
Staying up that long.
Yeah, it was just amazing.
Yeah.
And so, one last question. You didn't play at St Leonard's when you went to school at St Leonard's? You weren't in, like, the tennis team at St Leonard's?
I did play tennis at school, yeah.
So
yeah.
you were in the team and everything?
Yeah, I won the club champs, the school champs once, yeah.
Yep.
So who was headmaster then?
Richard Cornish.
Oh, right,
Yeah.
so you're there the Cornish
Yeah.
days, yeah. So everyone in this area,
I know.
everyone,
it's
they
like-
either went to Bowie High or St Leonard's. That is it.
That's it, yeah.
Anyway, Tim, thank you so much for coming in, and I hope to have you here in about a month.
Sounds good.
See how you're going, and we'll get that organised.
I'm most grateful you asked me.
Thank you so much for doing it.
Yeah.
Take care.
It's been an
Thank you, Nick.
absolute
Thank you,
pleasure
Colin.
and a wealth of information.
Thank you very much.
I don't know if anyone's hearing anything out there, but I'm not
On the scheme.
Right now.
The announcement came after the Prime Minister met today with 2015 Australian of the Year